second down. Pressure. Prescott throws, and that should have been picked.
Takes that all the way untouched.
Four-man rush. Prescott. That one might be a pick six. It will be. Touchdown, Washington. You believe that? Back to throw it for the first time. Going over the middle has McLaurin racing in for the end zone and a score. This NFL stuff is easy. Gonna run a little option. Howell, foot in the ground, nice cut. Howell is in. Touchdown, Washington.
Ron, there seemed like there was an intensity and a focus here tonight from this team that was maybe lacking last week. Why do you think that
No, don't tell me it was lacking last week. They came out to play and they played hard. They played their asses off last week. We just got beat. Don't say those guys. These guys have played hard all year. Okay? Please don't do that. Okay? They played their asses off today as well. Last week it just didn't work. This week it did work.
Welcome everyone. What's up? What's good? Thank you thank you highlights. Thank you Ron Rivera for that nice intro. Granted, I was the one that did all that heavy lifting and the editing and all that, but it's neither here nor there. That's the intro, y'all. Highlights from yesterday's game. It was a nice game. I'm not gonna say it was a beautiful game. It was a good game. Because here's the thing. As my mic decides to move around. Here's the thing. The Commanders, they had nothing to play for. Cowboys had everything to gain / lose. The Commanders did not. They had nothing to win. They had nothing to lose. It was whatever. By the way, they are the 16th pick in the 2023 draft. Yay. Woohoo. Great. Perfect. Moving on. They finished the season 8-1, at 5. I'm not gonna say above 500, but at 500. I guess I was wrong. I said that Ron Rivera was gonna go 7. I mean, I was close, but I had no idea that the Cowboys would be a cowboying and lose that game. To be honest, but 8-1. I still think Ron Rivera's trash. Unfortunately, Ron Rivera is going to be here to stay this upcoming season. Jury's still out on Scott Turner because he's Ron Rivera's boy, apparently. He's Ron Rivera's guy, so we'll have to wait and see if Ron wants to fire him. I say yes. A lot of Commanders saying yes. Even the players, if you guys didn't watch my short that I posted yesterday, guys really want Scott. They think that Scott Turner is an incapable offensive coordinator and his play calling is questionable. So what does that mean? That you can't lead this offense. You should go. You need to go. You need to go bye-bye. Ron Rivera yesterday, and unfortunately I could not find this clip or to clip it out. That was one of the questions asked in Ron Rivera's press conference yesterday. And he said, well, we got to evaluate, and we're going to evaluate within the next few weeks. So what you mean to tell me is you're going to evaluate, you're going to sit there like an old man, like the old man you are, like you are going to sit there and say, oh, we played terrible? Oh, I didn't know Scott Turner was terrible. But it doesn't matter anyway. So that's what you're going to end up doing. So I honestly have no hopes for Ron Rivera in firing Scott Turner. We'll see if that actually does happen. I personally don't think so. Just because, again, Ron Rivera is too loyal to his own guys for his own good. So it is what it is. So Jack Del Rio, I think he's fine. Yes, he's old. Yes, I know he's old and all that crap, but defense, something that Jack Del Rio and Ron Rivera do need to get going and do need to improve, though, in the beginning of the season is how to shut down that defense or how to have that defense better at the beginning of the season. Because in the beginning of the season, Kendall Fuller was trash. William Jackson, even though he's no longer here, was trash. Ben St. Juice, basically the defense was just terrible. They just got to find a way to get off right at the gate, just feast and be the defense that they usually are midway through late to the season. Because this slow start, Washington cannot have this again. They cannot have a slow start again. They just can't. If they do, then Ron Rivera should get up and get out of here. I don't care who the owner is. If it's Dan Snyder, if it's Bezos, I don't care who the owner is. If Ron Rivera starts the season 1-4 again, I'm sorry. Fire him. Because that is 4 years straight of him starting 1-4. These slow starts is the reason why the Commanders aren't a playoff caliber team. And they're not going to make it in the playoffs. And then here we're going to go with this merry-go-round of y'all calling me a hater. And I'm saying it to you fans. Y'all calling me a hater. Y'all calling me a fake fan. No. I call it like I see it. Ron Rivera does not convince me that this team was a playoff team from the beginning after that 1-4 start. And don't get me, they went 4-4. And didn't you see the 7-5? Okay, I get that. But what did I say? I said, after that Falcons game, after that 12th game, it was going to get difficult because they needed to face the Giants twice. They needed to face the 49ers. They needed to face the Browns with Deshaun Watson. And they needed to face the Cowboys. What happened? In that 5-game stretch, the Commanders went 1-4. 1-4. And it was the one game that really doesn't matter. Or actually, no, sorry, not 1-4. 1-3-1. 1-3-1. And that one game that they won was a game that was meaningless, but not the meaningless that you think. It was the meaningless game when they were already eliminated. So, boom. So that is something that needs to be done in the offseason. We'll have to wait and see. All right. Now that I got the coaching rant out of the way, well, more of the coaching rant here in a few moments. But man of the hour, time to talk about this man, Sam Howell. Got the start yesterday. I was solid. Touchdown pass, an interception, and a rushing touchdown. Had an okay game, I guess. This coaching stuff was too conservative yesterday for me to honestly give him an honest assessment. Only throwing the ball 19 times, where he should have been throwing the ball at least maybe like 30, 35 times, to be honest, because, we want to see more of his throws, not how he manages the game. We've had enough game managers to know this, I guess. But it is what it is. He played solid, was I think 11 of 19 for it was like 190 yards or something like that. Don't have the stats on me right now, but as you notice in the highlights, he had that passing touchdown, that rushing touchdown, had the that red zone interception, which was inexcusable, basically pulling the Carson Wentz and Taylor Heineke of throwing it into triple coverage. Again, I feel like that's rookie mistake, but he's also, sitting behind guys that love to throw interceptions when it matters most. So, Sam Howell, again, am I going to say, should he be the starter week 1 next year? No. Though I think he deserves a shot to prove himself, yes. And to be honest, if you want to be technical, if you didn't think Taylor Heineke was the guy, Ron Rivera, you could have just stuck with Sam Howell last week. I guarantee you Sam Howell would have been provided more of a spark than Carson Wentz, but whatever. I don't really care. Moving on. But like I said, played okay-ish. Again, not much to just the sample size. I want to see more. He's basically that Taylor Heineke where when Taylor Heineke was named the starter for the Tampa Bay game, for that playoff game where Taylor Heineke, just wowed the crowd, and impressed enough where he was actually in position to get that starting position in 2021. But after, we saw that he, isn't the real deal or just that guy, we see enough. Sam Howell's the same way. I think we're going to have to, depending on what Ron Rivera does in the offseason, and I get it, knowing Ron Rivera's MO, I know that fans don't want Jimmy G. They don't want Sam Darnold. They don't want, those other guys. But Ron Rivera does Ron Rivera things. So I don't want any of the free agent quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson, I say this. It would be nice to have Lamar Jackson, but I don't think he's coming here. I don't think he would want to come here to this dumpster from a Ravens team that treats him like crap and not pay him. Granted, he doesn't deserve to get paid because he's injury prone. But he has everything set up in Baltimore. He has the offensive line. All he needs is weapons, which Commanders do have weapons, but they don't have the offensive line. So I don't think that Lamar Jackson would come here. Don't tell Aaron this because Aaron doesn't watch my stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens franchise tag him, even though I don't think they are, but I would not be surprised if they do. But we'll see how that goes. But aside from that, Lamar Jackson, Tom Brady, no, just no. No. I don't even want to. No. No, Tom, don't bring Tom. I don't think Tom Brady would come here, but still, if he's here, I'm done. I don't like Tom Brady. I just don't. I think he's done. He's fried. Unfortunately, sorry, Jason. Unfortunately, Tampa Bay is playing Dallas, so they're gonna beat Dallas. Maybe, potentially. Oh, I don't know. We'll see. I'll talk about the playoff picture in another video. But I wouldn't want Tom Brady. But after that, Jimmy G, no, I'm good. Let me see. Sam Darnold, no. He's not it. Who else is free agent? Who else is free agent? Jacoby Brissett, no. It's just those guys. Those guys out there. No, I don't want to entertain the idea of those guys being here. But yep. Done. So Sam Howell is the obvious option. Again, we're not in a position to draft a quarterback unless Ron Rivera is an innovator, which he's not. He's too laid back. He likes to stay where he is. If anything, he'll trade back instead of trading up. He would not trade up to get the quarterbacks of the future, like the Bryce Youngs, like the CJ Stroud, and those are only the two quarterbacks that I know that are top notch. But Ron Rivera is not that type of guy to go up there and get them. So it is what it is. But so we're most likely. We'll have to wait and see. I say, and I know that this is 8 months away. We are 8 months away from Sam Howell starting week 1. So, be prepared for that. Again, I wouldn't be opposed to the idea, but know this, because I've been a Commanders fan for 17 years now. This team has disappointed me way too many times, and I'm not going to be, hopeful for this team anymore. Like, I just can't. Like, I can't, especially with Ron Rivera being here. Ron Rivera does not excite me at all. So, you You won't see any excitement from me unless it's like a huge splash, things like that. It is what it is. But anyway, back to talking about Sam Howell in the game yesterday. Before I do that, let me make sure no one's in the chat. All right, no one. All right, cool. All right. All right. So, like I said, small sample size. I would have wanted it to be more, but Ron Rivera again and Scott Turner were being too conservative running the football. Jarrett Patterson ran decently well. He had 17 carries for 78 yards. So it is what it is there. Jonathan Williams. There was a lot of Jonathan Williams, a lot of Jarrett Patterson. Terry McLaurin had a touchdown grab. Like I said, Sam Howell had a rushing touchdown. Jahan Dotson. Sam Howell does have the arm. He's basically, his stature from what I hear is that he's a thicker Taylor Heineke, but I think he does have that arm strength and he does have more mobility. And the arm strength, you could tell that he has with the bombs that he was taking downfield. I think Terry McLaurin caught one for 52 or something like that. Jahan Dotson could have caught one for 60, but it was dropped. Terry McLaurin had another one that he caught that was dropped. So somehow it does have the arm. He has everything that the Commanders need to be successful. I'll give him that. Has the mobility, which Carson Wentz is not, but Taylor Heineke is, even though they don't use him like that. Has the arm that Carson Wentz has that Taylor Heineke does not. So, again, Sam Howell, he can basically throw his name in the hat. And Ron Rivera saying that he's a QB, not saying that he's QB1, QB2. He just says that he's a standard QB, which is, people are saying, oh, he's critical. He's critical. Look, it's fair. It's fair. It's the last game of the season, And then you got 7 months until preseason, and then 3 or 4 months to OTA. So, you got to prove yourself in big time games, and you're not going to get a large sample size in just one game. You're just not. So it is what it is. Let me see. Kendall Fuller had a pick 6. Talking about some highlights of the game, as you noticed, dropped a pass that could have gotten intercepted by Dak Prescott, but then the next play, Dak does it again, throws an interception. This time, Kendall Fuller is able to grab it and take it to the house. And that's what opened up the scoring for the Commanders. The Commanders were actually up 13-0, which I was surprised to see. I actually thought that they would be – when I saw 7-0, I'm like, oh, okay, Dallas, just let them have fun on their first drive. No worries. Dallas will turn this around. That's what I thought, to be honest. But I guess not, because then it was 13-0. And what I saw from Dallas really wasn't, I'm like, man, Dallas is just playing terrible. Dallas played like they had nothing to play for yesterday. And then they got that lowly touchdown at the end of the first half. Again, Jack Del Rio. Another big thing that I need to pick with Jack Del Rio is, why are you playing soft coverage, man? Why are you being soft? You gotta be that dog. You can't give up. Yes, I get it. You're trying to prevent. But you also gotta stop. Because honestly, Dallas had no interest, for some odd reason, in scoring touchdowns and getting first downs. They kept on going incomplete, run here and there with Zeke, run here and there with Tony Pollard. I think Zeke had 9 carries for like 12 yards or something like that, or 7 yards. And then like Tony Pollard had 10 for 8. Like, that's just bad. I think Dallas and I had this conversation with Jason earlier, and he was like, I think Dallas lost on purpose. I'm like, dude, if they would have lost on purpose, we would have seen Dallas' C squad, but they actually had something to prove in hopes that the Giants were going to pull an upset, which they did not. But It is what it is. But give me one second, folks. Sorry about that. Let me see. I lost my train of thought. My grandma walked in on me. Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons has been very disappointing. The back end of the season, he hasn't been the Micah Parsons of old. Is he hurt? Does Dallas, push him to do too much? Maybe, maybe not. We'll have to wait and see. But you know, Dallas. If anything, Tampa, Washington did y'all a favor. We made Dallas question themselves, number one. And number two, they're coming in a bit dinged up because Mike McCarthy decided to play their starters until 5 minutes in 5 minutes in the fourth quarter. So, it is what it we'll see if that does anything. Let me see what other notes. Really, Khalid Hudson was all over the field today, so I think, and he actually got one of the game balls. So, from Ron Rivera. So Khalid Hudson, I really don't know why Ron Rivera doesn't didn't name him a starter or anything. Instead, he decides to go with David Mayo, Milo Eifler, whatever. I don't, those guys. You should have just gone with Khalid Hudson because from what I saw yesterday, he was pretty solid. It's pretty good. So, I was impressed with Khalid Hudson yesterday. Got one of the game balls. Sam Howell got a game ball. Let me see. Like I said, Jahan Dotson with a few catches here and there had a drop. Terry McLaurin touchdown reception. I had a few drops that could have been. Ron Rivera, that red zone, man. That is another thing that y'all need to fix heading into next year. Red zone. Joey Salai, special teams unit was solid with the exception of Joey Salai. Forcing Turpin to fumble and muff punt, good job. Forcing the whatever Brian Unger or Anger was trying to do with the punt, nice job. Forced a turnover on downs there. But Joey Slye, man, Joey Slye's got to go. I think after the Dustin Hopkins woes, I think Joey Slye has overstayed his welcome. I think the Commanders need to look elsewhere for a kicker. Yes, I know he's been more accurate than Dustin Hopkins, but Joey Slye, when it matters most, could have, really isn't any better at all. So it is what it is there. Missing two field goals yesterday and an extra point, inexcusable. Really, the Commanders should have just scored 30 on them. Should have scored 30 on Dallas, but they had kicking woes. I know that Brett Maher missed them an extra point, but that was whatever. I don't care about that. But I think Joey Slye should go. Let me see. What other notes do I have for the game yesterday? Let me see, Ron Rivera. You know what? Let me talk a little bit about the ownership situation. Dan Snyder, Tanya Snyder. Dan apparently wasn't at the game when Tanya was. I don't know if that's telling or not. I guess we'll have to wait and see. I haven't gotten any notifications yet. So again, we'll see what happens with the ownership. I really do hope that this year's the year that We get new ownership. Just because I'm sick and tired of this, bull crap. The indictments, the police investigation. I'm just done. I'm just done hearing about it. But so we'll see if anything happens regarding new owner. Obviously, I'll report it. I'll talk about it. So, yep. Enough said there. Did I say Scott Turner should be fired? Yep. Let me see. I don't like to do this until I am sure of like what I want to say. But players that I think that need to be re-signed. By the way, before I continue, I don't know if you all noticed. Look at this, my Terry McLaurin jersey. I intended to wear this Terry McLaurin jersey if the Commanders started out on a win streak after the bye week. In fact, I wore it. I don't know if you guys remember in the Giants game, the second one, the Sunday night game. But after that, I knew that this playoff thing was a joke, so I didn't wear it. But hey, I got a Terry McLaurin jersey, y'all. Check it out. Anyway, let me see. All right, studs and duds from yesterday, and I think I'll end it with this. I'll end it with studs and duds. From I guess the season. And my thoughts on this. So studs throughout the season, and not just yesterday. So yesterday, stud. I'll give one to Sam Howell. Sam Howell was a stud. Again, like to see more. Jarrett Patterson, stud. Ran the ball, like I said, 17 for 78. Terry McLaurin, stud, even though he had a few drop passes. Jahan Dotson, stud, even though he too had a few drop passes. Kendall Fuller, a stud for that pick six. Got the offense up and running. And Chase Montez Sweat, I think, had a sack. So but he was foul all over. He was all over the field. Derek Forrest was all over the field. So yeah. So those are the guys that I can think of from yesterday. But throughout the season, my studs and duds awards. Studs, John Allen, Daron Payne, who should be paid, most likely going to get franchise tagged, but should get paid. He led the team, and I think he was the sack leader this year. I think he had 10 sacks, had a few tip passes, was there when it mattered, had a lot of tackles for loss. Daron Payne needs to be paid. Is he going to get paid? No, because Ron Rivera is cheap. He's probably going to get franchise tag. So, yeah. John Allen, stud. Tackles for loss, sacks, made big plays. The defensive leader of this team. So, yeah. Montez Sweat. We know what we're getting with Montez Sweat. Had big sacks. Don't know if he had forced fumbles this year or not. Can't remember off the top of my head if he did or not. But had crucial sacks too, crucial tackles. Jamin Davis showed some improvement. So there you go. Jahan Dotson was a stud, man. And unfortunately, I have to say this. The quarterback play held the wide receiving core back because when Carson Wentz was in there at the beginning of the year, he was feeding Curtis Samuel, he was feeding Jahan Dotson, but not feeding Terry McLaurin. Jahan Dotson gets hurt, is out for 5 games. I think it was 5 games, 5 or 6 games. Excuse me. But makes big catches, had a few big touchdowns. The ones that I can think of, the Jaguars, The two big touchdowns for him. Let me see what other. The two big touchdowns for him. I know that there's more. Last week or 2 weeks ago against the it was one of the games, but and Jahan Dotson, I gave him no credit. I said Ron Rivera screwed up. Should have gotten Chris Olave, but instead traded back and got Jahan Dotson. We're like, I was like, oh man, Jahan Dotson. I'm like, Commanders are screwed. But no, he shut me up. I think he has 6-7 touchdowns this year. So yeah, here in my respect, Curtis Samuel redeemed himself after the injured riddle year that he had last year. Was used in the run game, was used in the pass game. Basically, the Deebo Samuel of the 49ers, may I say. So, was crucial at times. Again, Scott Turner, in my opinion, sometimes did not use this offense right. In turn, did not use him right. But, he came up clutch in the Jaguars game. So, and I don't think he missed the game either due to injury. So, he's going to have an interesting third year, whoever the quarterback is going to be. Hopefully he can pick up where he left off because he was very, very crucial. He was basically Taylor Heineke's favorite target. He was definitely Carson Wentz's favorite target. So, yeah. Let me see. Terry McLaurin, I already spoke about him. 1,000 yards. What can I say about Terry McLaurin? 1,000 yards again. Clutch player. So, I'm not even going to discuss him. The offensive line was shuffling. I honestly think the offensive line, Ron Rivera with that 16th pick, if it's not going to be a quarterback, got to be offensive line. It just the Commanders, hear me out. They got their first round and a second round pick because Carson Wentz, thankfully, did not play 70% of the snaps. They don't have a third round pick, but they do have a first and a second round pick. If it's not going to be used on a quarterback, the Commanders need to draft offensive linemen in the first and second round of this year's draft. Period. If they don't do that, or they don't go out there in free agency and get big names for the offensive line, we're going to be right back here again. Guaranteed. So there you go. Anyway. Kendall Fuller really, again, had a pretty bad first half of the season, but picked it up at the end of this, at the end of the year, had that interception against that pick six, I think, against the Texans to open up the scoring against the Texans, and then he had that interception that ended the Falcons' comeback hopes. Had that pick six yesterday, so we got to see and wait what the Commanders are going to do with him later down the stretch. Him, Benjamin St. Juice was really good, but got hurt when it mattered most. So can Benjamin St. Juice come back and be healthy and play a full 17-game season next year? We'll have to wait and see. So, Commanders also, I think, need to find like a corner that will best fit their scheme. If not, that would be another place that I would look in the draft, get another corner to help them out with coverage, because I no disrespect to these guys, no disrespect to Danny Johnson, to Rashad Wildgoose, Castro Fields. I don't want to see those guys out there next year. Rashad Wildgoose was trash, to be honest. So, I don't know. I just don't care for him. Derek Forrest, first-year starter. Let me see. Derek Forrest showed first-year starting. the pair between him and Cameron Curl. Cameron Curl is another guy that deserves an extension. Cameron Curl needs to get extended because him and Derek Forrest basically made up with what Landon Collins was going to be, because when the Commanders released Landon Collins, for a long time, I thought, man, the Commanders had it right with Landon Collins, had him at that hybrid spot, the hybrid linebacker / safety. They played solid, ultimately failed, released them. And I'm like, man, who's going to take that spot? And Derek Forrest fit nicely. To my recollection, he had 3 big interceptions this year, one including the Jaguars. So, can he improve his 3rd year and his 2nd year being part of that secondary? We'll have to wait and see. But him and Cameron Curl are a formidable duo. Let me see. Am I missing anyone? Let me know who y'all think were studs, in y'all's opinion. I think I named the ones off of my Chase Young, not a stud nor a dud. Made a few impact here and there. Played okay-ish in the 49ers game. Made somewhat of an impact in the 49ers game, but the latter part of the year was all about him coming back and seeing what he can do. So, next year, definitely Chase Young needs to prove his worth. Because the Commanders are kind of getting in a situation where it's going to be tough to pay all these guys. They got to pay Montez Sweat next year. And so Chase Young, don't want to call him a bust, because we look back at the 2020 draft. We could have gotten Justin Herbert, but we ended up getting Chase Young. So Chase Young in year 4 needs to step it up a notch and get going, because I can see it where everyone's saying, oh, he was a bust, don't resign him. So next year, Chase Young, you got to step up, bro. Got to step up. So yeah. Let me see. Do I have anything else that I want to talk about regarding yesterday's game or the season? I guess no. I think I'm good recapping yesterday's game and things like that. I think I said everything that needed to be said. Let me know what y'all think. Like I said, if anything newsworthy comes out for the Commanders, I'll be here reporting it. But until then, an announcement with the Commanders being out of the playoffs. I'll be focusing more on the NFL, because on my channel I do NFL content as well. I don't, just do Commanders content. So I'll be doing playoff playoff videos. We got the wild card coming up this weekend, and so I'll be doing that. Another announcement, if y'all didn't hear on the Golden Truth, No Nonsense is coming back. Me and Naeem, if y'all didn't know, if you want, you guys can take a look at the older videos that we did way back when in 2020. No Nonsense is coming back. I'll put the link to Naeem and No Nonsense, Naeem and Oscar podcast down in the description. So we're excited to finally get some content for that. I'm going on vacay with Naeem to Florida for a week, so we'll we have a lot of exciting content for that. So, but I do want to thank y'all for rocking with me this year. I know it was a tumultuous year. I know it was a lot of me mostly hitting on this team or being down on this team. Again, this team I really would have hoped that this team proved me wrong. And they did at times. They shut me up at times. But what happened? They disappointed me too, and I spoke my mind. So, but thank you very much. I guess that's it, y'all. That's it. That's all. Um, thank you for the subscribers. Thank you for watching. Make sure if you're new to my channel, hit that sub button, hit that like button. Y'all like to watch my content. Y'all like to listen or watch or do whatever, but you don't hit that sub, you don't hit that like. So do those two things so that way YouTube knows that I'm around, and I would greatly appreciate it. Until then, guys, keep it real. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.